What's going on, Sagittarius? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. I goofed up. I started to do your reading and then I goofed. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal month so far. Luckily, I didn't get too far into it yet, so that was a bonus, but I had a lot of talking to do with you, Sag. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just the greatest, Sag, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy how yourself is brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. And Sag, let me tell you what, I'm so pumped that I'm not too disheartened that I have to do this again, because it is Celestial News Monthly. It's fantastic, Sag. It's like literally my favorite time of the month. And we just get to talk astrology. It's fantastic. And a little mix of tarot. I feel like this is a nice blend. But before I get into that, Sag, just a reminder, with this sun getting ready to move into a new sign here soon, if you want to see how the energies are working in your chart there, Sagittarius, with some things that maybe you want to be thinking about, definitely book a reading with me. I have some links down in the description box below with the different services that I offer. Also, there's some links on my bio and Instagram. Hopefully that sentence structure makes sense for you, so do that over on Instagram, and you can book over there. And keep in mind there, Sag, I'll never reach out with you asking for a reading. So yeah, this will be whether you schedule something directly through those readings, or if you maybe DM me on Instagram, possibly something. Or even on Facebook. We're working with it, Sag. But I think that's all the housekeeping that I have. So, with this monthly spread, whenever the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are and how we can work with the energies. And just so y'all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one, so take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on the situation, okay? So with all that being said there, Sag, let's jump into it. I'm going to move this here. Alright, Sag, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Sag. Now, I have oracle cards here with the zodiac signs that the sun and the planets are in. I'm going to pull a few oracle cards from this deck here for each one of them, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, Sag, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? Oh, look at you, Sag, okay? Thank you, guys. We'll talk about that in a moment. And in case if y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching their Sagittarius, so definitely check them out. They're a very intuitive group, very fantastic. I think you'd enjoy the messages that they bring. Also, there's a link for an astrologer that I enjoy watching as well. There are links for some podcasts. I know I'll probably include her podcast as well. Yeah, I'll do that as well there, Sagittarius. But there's a couple podcasts I've been jamming to, and then there are some links for some apps that I really enjoy working with there, Sag, so definitely check that out. I mean, we're going to be in collaboration, so you might as well have the tools that you need. Love it. But before we get into this big old birthday bash that Pisces is throwing in their sign, let's talk about a couple of aspects that I want to kind of just have on your radar there, Sagittarius, because the first one, which I feel like could be a beneficial one that it's not necessarily going to be easy, but I feel like you can grow. The growth, I feel like, would be very, very fast for you, Sagittarius, because you have Chiron that's going to be conjunct the North Node in Aries, and that's going to be happening on the 19th of February at 16 degrees. So see where you either have 16 degrees of Aries, or where your Sag placements be at, if you have any around that point there, or any placements in any fire placements or any cardinal placements. Cardinal being Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. But with this energy, this Chiron healing the North Node, the North Node is kind of like our destiny, where we're going to next. And this is, I feel like, kind of asking yourself, like, what are your passions? What are some things we may have been kind of putting off, some things that we've been maybe afraid to tackle, maybe because of the fear of failure, maybe there's a fear that whatever that that mark or that wound to the ego or to the sense of self is. That's where Chiron kind of comes in, because Chiron's that wounded healer. He's that wound that we have to work on throughout this journey. But in that working on those things, like, a lot of tools and gifts open up from that as well. So this can be a really chance to kind of heal the self-confidence there, Sagittarius, to work on building up a bit more willpower there, going for, being more brave. Let's say if we're afraid of, had this fear for public speaking, maybe booking something where you're maybe starting, maybe not like in a huge filled room, but maybe starting with like a Zoom meeting with a few people. Start small, maybe even with some friends there at first, people you're comfortable with, and then expand from that. But this is a time of bravery with this Aries energy happening here, and even embodying some of your dreams there, Sagittarius, approaching them with gusto, still being afraid, absolutely, but not letting the fear be something that hinders you. It's like Emperor energy with Aries, using that fear as fuel. It says it's something that just sort of, there was something clever that was going to come out of that, but it's still marinating. But we're going to go ahead. And I feel like in this energy too there, Sagittarius, in working on yourself, I feel like this invites others as well, to kind of see that leading by example, because fire energy is very inspirational. One that spurs, the fire energy spurs people into action, so this could be a very, very big expansive time for you there, Sagittarius. Understanding your self-worth there. Mars is still, when this is happening, we'll see the 16th. Mars will have just moved into Aquarius, so very cool stuff there, Sagittarius. But also we have the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn that are going to be conjunct at 9 degrees on the 28th of February. And this is a very interesting one there, Sagittarius, because I feel like it's this Sun, and this one might be a little bit trickier there for you there, Sag, because it's like this whole month is kind of this big sort of meeting yourself a lot deeper here. And I mean, which makes sense. We're getting ready, and we're getting into Pisces, a very introspective sign. But this may be for some where we may need to ask ourselves kind of where we're going in life. Maybe we've been kind of feeling for you there, Sagittarius, there's this need to maybe kind of sit still for a moment, maybe even for some, and kind of process. It's like we may have this big picture, we've been kind of going towards it, but maybe we've been very quick and impulsive, or maybe going at this maybe a little too fast, possibly, or, kind of. And just picture you just kind of blasting through some walls there, Sagittarius. But I feel this is one where it is, not saying that we stop, but we slow down a little bit, be a little more mindful with our intentions, really kind of asking. For some, I feel like this is just like, who am I becoming? What have I been dreaming? How have my actions got me to where I'm trying to get to in life? And really kind of it's like, the Sun is just asking who I am. The Mercury is solidifying that in your head, and then Saturn is that action. Putting that poetry into motion with this Pisces energy. This could be a really big one for maybe kind of repairing that self-esteem. Maybe we had something with a business that may not have taken off how we had planned, and maybe we're not doing it exactly the same way, but we're starting up something different. We're not just throwing it away. Or this could be maybe where we're starting up that book, possibly, or just really kind of, I feel like asking you, like, what. For you, Sag, I feel like this could be where it's asking you, like, what is real and what isn't. Where we may have over-exaggerated or over-inflated something here. And I feel like, too, this can be a challenging one, too, where maybe we set these expectations, we're not where we're at. And I feel like it's, again, meeting yourselves with that compassion as well that Pisces has, that you've, appreciating where you're at and grateful for the lessons that have been your teacher up until this point there, Sagittarius, if that makes sense. So, all right, I think I'm going to leave that there, but let's go ahead and talk about this big bonanza that Pisces is throwing in their sign. Because Neptune and Saturn have already been chilling there for a minute, and they got about another year left or so, and they're going to do a little retrograde shenanigans yet next year. But you have the Sun that's entering Pisces, Mercury's going to be entering, and then the Empress is going to be entering Venus as well, and that's going to be a lovely one there. They're all really lovely, but I like that one in particular. But let's start with the Sun, because you have the Sun that's going to be entering Pisces on the 18th of February, and that'll be about 11:13 p.m., and it will be there through the 19th of March. And with this energy there, Sag, this is the last of the last sign of the astrological year, and in this season, this is a time to really reflect on all the things that have happened since last March, when we entered into Aries season. And what are some highlights that have happened? What were some successes that we feel proud of? Some of those little victories where maybe some people in our groups have won as well. And maybe where there were some losses, maybe there were some failures, some disappointments. And what did we learn from that? And what are we getting closure on that, and doing some healing on that, getting some growth from that, so that we can start off this next start of the year with a bang, how Aries likes to come in, fruitful, ready to seize the day, new inspirations, new ambitions, clearing space, clearing that garden so that new growth can come through there, Sag. So this can be a time where you just, intuition is heightened, but the trickiness with this energy is that sometimes in all these hardships where things get a little tough, Pisces can escape. And we just want to be mindful of that escapisms, running away from our responsibilities, possibly, things that we've been maybe putting off for a while there, or, taking more accountability for why some things maybe had manifested the way they did, or maybe didn't manifest at all. So then you have Mercury that's going to be entering on the 23rd of February at about 2:29 a.m. and it will be there through the 9th of March. And I love when Mercury's in a water sign, especially in Pisces, and probably after Pisces, Cancer. I do really like that. But this really just enhances our intuitive and creative thinking there, Sag. This gets us to it just gets us in this sort of like imaginative, dreamy type of space there. So it may be a little hard to do things that require a more sort of strict logic or precision, but this is, again, another energy for just kind of deeper psychological evaluation, in a sense, because now the conscious and the subconscious mind become more porous. We can get more downloads. This is a time you don't have to stop, but again, I feel like just kind of tune in to what is shifting, what's happening inside of you. What are some things that you're noticing in yourself and the groups around you? What do you see going on collectively? Really sort of there's just this heightened awareness, I feel like, but it's something you're sensing more intuitively than what your eyes and your normal senses can see. This is a real kind of sixth sense awakening. And I kind of like talking about this sensorial stuff, because let's move on. Actually, let's talk about Venus, because Venus is going to be entering into Pisces on the 11th of March at about 5:50 p.m. and then we'll be there through the 5th of April. And as I was talking about that, with that sensorial type of stuff there, I do feel that this can be one where you are starting to, I'm picturing you just moving wisely there, Sagittarius. Very mindful with your steps, but appreciating what's the stimulations that are coming in through there, and what they're teaching you. This real sort of, internal almost kind of revelation, even almost just like a refiring of the senses. And especially I really feel kind of like that mind's eye type of energy coming through there, Sagittarius. That's the first thing that came up there for this one. But also too, this is the why this placement is also very lovely is that Venus is outside of Taurus and Libra. She is exalted in Pisces. So her energy is very strong there, and she has a lot of love to give. You know, she's in her most, she's in a very compassionate, very empathetic, psychic type of energy. You know, she's in this kind of dreamy state and so we just want to be mindful just of our boundaries, and also a willingness just to kind of sacrifice ourselves for the need of others, and I just get for some too, and just like I'm picturing one of Pisces cards in another oracle deck that I work with, and it's the cross card, but there's a mentioning of martyrdom there. So just get this message to be careful of being a martyr there, Sag. So, but otherwise, this is a very creative energy as well, bringing in more beauty, taking that imaginative, all this energy, and maybe even doing some healing work through this extra creative energy that we're in, during this period of time there, Sagittarius. A time to dive deep and do some alternative ways to channel the energy, and that's actually interesting what we'll talk about with Mars next. Well, in a little bit, but then we have Saturn that is in Pisces, and he entered on the 23rd, I want to say, last year in March. Nope, the 7th. And will be there through the 24th of May, 2025. And if, like I was saying, him and Neptune will be retrograding back and forth a little bit. But this I feel like has been one, especially with all this Pisces energy that we're in, learning to shield our energies, making sure to learn how we interact with each other, on an energetic level, how that exchange really can drain you, that like something as simple as maybe even just like introverts versus extroverts, there's some times where I feel like both are capable of socializing, but it's like an introvert maybe need a little less time or can't quite turn it on as fast as an extrovert. I mean, there are some times I just would honestly prefer to just kind of be, but I can just turn it on real fast. That's not even a problem. So I feel like it's understanding that, again, like these limitations in a sense. Maybe we've been too harsh on ourselves as far as like what we've been doing with Saturn being in Pisces, but also too just noticing how relationships to other people, to environments, to things, how that affects you. Be a little more sensitive to this vessel there and your needs, and being a little more disciplined in self-care, in your taking care of your spirituality, because this could be maybe the spirituality is off because something's off with the physical. Maybe we haven't moved the body in a while, or maybe we're physical, very active, but there's some emotional things that we haven't dealt with, or maybe some whatever that may be looking like. But just coming at things from, I feel like, a very kind of more holistic way there. Again, Saturn is giving these sort of like ideas and giving it form. So and I'm even getting to there, Sag, just being mindful of just because where he's giving these dreams forms, he can be, the question is, what are you dreaming about? And as far as like, where's our head at? So that's something to be mindful of as well. Your thoughts become things, and your thoughts are powerful. So pay attention to that, Sag. And then you have Neptune that's been in Pisces since April of 2011. And she's getting ready to wrap up her trek. She's almost last stop through the Zodiac, because after Pluto, she has this, the second slowest orbit. And so this has been an interesting energy with Neptune being in her home sign these last 14 years, or 13 some now. But she's been, just kind of casually, I feel like, unlocking everybody, really kind of getting us in touch with our with our inner source, like trying to get us to understand this deeper connection that we're all different expressions of the same source, you know, however you connect to source, you know. And I feel that there is this trying to get to that state of universal oneness again. But, you know, like getting people connected with their inner divine, universe, spiritual path. I'm going to light my other candle here. Because I feel that this is probably going to challenge some, and you know, with all these changes, Sag, especially with Pluto being in Aquarius, that our beliefs are going to be challenged. You know, there are going to be we're going to be in the state, you know, for disillusionment. Things we may have put our faith in may just have been this illusion, you know, in a sense. And now it's just like, how do we deal with that? Where I feel like how we work with this Neptune energy, we can either let her keep feeding into this dream, this illusion, or she can help her kind of wake up in a sense, realize that we are more in control of our manifestation and things than we realize, but we've just surrendered our power to a state. And I feel that there is this too, again, of just like feeling that, you know, just forgiving, a lot of forgiveness that's coming through with that, because everyone's journey is different. And I know that's hard even, you know, but I feel while we still have this little bit of energy left, I feel like a lot of really beautiful growth can happen through this energy. But and the thing that maybe have been kind of tough with you, especially with Neptune having gone through these placements, is that she's going to be forming a square, or she would have been. Oh, hold on, there's that. My dates are falling, but this would have been forming a square with your Sagittarius placements, and I just feel that this squares are really just pushing you to kind of trust in something a little bit bigger than yourself, to like kind of lean into, because you and Pisces share, before Neptune even was discovered, you shared a ruler in Jupiter. And sure, you have your own specific traits, but you still get that expansiveness from Jupiter, that luck, that abundance. Just because you're seen as a lucky sign, that doesn't mean Pisces isn't lucky. You got some of those blessings with Jupiter. And just as where Pisces can get that psychic thing, you get some of that too there with Jupiter. You know, it just translates a little bit different. It's expressed a little bit differently. But I just feel like this is you just kind of challenging your imagination as far as like what you can do, what you can achieve, what you can learn, what you can, you know, just a lot of cans. You know, like I feel like we're not focusing on what we don't want, or what we, you know, like on the more, you know, changing the narrative even just a little bit, and challenging your imagination, pushing your growth past your belief, like what you normally believe. You know, not necessarily have to agree with something, but just keeping an open mind with something there, Sagittarius. And that's very, very interesting. I feel this could be, all this Pisces energies could be a very, well, again, maybe challenging one, but what comes from that challenge, I feel like is going to be very dope for you. But let's go ahead and talk about that, Sagittarius, because speaking of, because we're talking about Jupiter. Speaking of your ruler here, you got the 10th card, which is Wheel of Fortune energy, Jupiter. But this is Archangel Raziel here, which is a card of wisdom, intuition, inspiration, and the Akashic Records there, Sag. And I feel like take all of the knowledge that you've gotten over this last year, wherever you've been maybe reflecting from here, Sagittarius, and how do you let what happened in these experiences inspire you to take that knowledge and put it into action, to form it into wisdom, and to put that wisdom out there as well. This, I feel like, is so I just read something about Sagittarian energy that I really enjoyed, and how they described it was like Sagittarius prior to it was like a ranking system where Sag kind of fell. You were either the gypsy, the student, or the philosopher. The gypsy being the lowest, the philosopher being the highest. And Now it's more so, that was just the old ways of categorizing that. But when you take what all of them have in common, the gypsy goes and experiences life. She's a minimalist. She's going through and learning new experiences, keeping this broad mind of different cultures, different ways, exchanging knowledge in a sense. And then you have the student who's maybe not as active as the gypsy, but he's learning a lot. He's considering different views from his. It may not change his views, but it just keeps a more open mind for them. Just really kind of unlocking this thing. And then you have the philosopher who's going through life intuitively, syncing up with the flow, listening to their bodies, syncing up with the cycles. And I just feel like this is you. It's very interesting there, Sagittarius. I feel like this is you finding something that gets you inspired, that keeps you just expanding in a sense, and just really just kind of growing. Not sure where this is going, but know that there's going to be gold on the other side of this, and no matter what that's maybe necessarily looking like. In some, we may need to go kind of on a leap of faith here, but it's not that we're just jumping into something blindly. This feels a little more divinely guided in a sense there, Sagittarius, just living with this more purpose in a sense. But let me get some tarot on this, Sag, and get some details with this. Ooh, there you are, Sag. Look at all this sun. I'm with it. Oh, okay. Ooh. Alright, Sag. Thank you guys. Let's see what's going on here. A lot of heat. Because you have... Alright, so you have, and actually your energy's been going around quite a bit. You have the Ten of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Three of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, the Strength card, and then here's you, Sag, the Temperance card. Where do you want to start? And here's one of your cards here, Sagittarius. This is the Ten of Wands, which is Saturn in Sagittarius. And I feel that this is kind of asking you, where have we been? For some, there's this energy of where have we been maybe a little rigid in our thinking, is what I'm feeling. It's like, it's like we've been, I'm getting this energy of just like, is this the cross you want to die on? But only I just feel like it's because this owl is trying to take all of this stuff up here so, and I almost feel like that it's just like, and this doesn't necessarily have to be something drastic here, Sagittarius, where it's like we're changing religions or that we're changing jobs, but this could be maybe something just as like, maybe this is like a group that we used to hang out with, and we're noticing that like it doesn't feel the same, something's out of balance here, but we're just taking this along anyway. We're still stretching ourselves in a sense. I almost feel like it's like this Leo energy is giving like it's almost like we're almost like putting on a show, not really allowing ourselves to That's one energy that's coming through there, Sagittarius. I almost feel like it's almost like, I feel like maybe even this group, this change that's kind of happening here, it may be just like, because the Five of Pentacles can be this lack mentality, and maybe there's just been this where the energies are just kind of sucking the inspiration. We just kind of find ourselves in sort of like the same stuff, different day. And I feel like for a Sag, that's a tough place to be. Where if we're not pushing ourselves maybe through. and this could be even too, maybe we're kind of analyzing, maybe where we're, these Akashic records could be like our social media platforms, where we are the things that you're pulling in or that you're consuming, are they keeping you in a low state? Are they becoming this burden, become where they kind of weigh you down in a sense where you just vibration feels, you just feel more dense after after consuming that? Or is it getting you in the celebratory space? But I even feel like even with that, there's just something here about. I remember listening to this podcast, and I like this maybe would be a solid example, where she was saying that of course she has the people that she really likes, but then every now and again she'll like someone who she may not agree with what they're saying, but she can respect them as a person. How they're coming about it isn't defacing something else. We're just exchanging. We're having a healthy debate. And so it could be even just more introducing more kind of opposing things into your world. Maybe trying something where, like, you know what, maybe instead of going this route during to my work, I'm going to try going this way today. Or maybe I walk this path every day. Maybe I'll do this today. Again, like, I don't think it needs to be where, like, you need to go to a different continent, where you need to try a different, but just something here I feel like is looking for inspiration, looking for, in seeing just where. Because another thing too, I feel with this kind of Five of Pentacles here, where I feel like some of us have made some mistakes and we're letting those mistakes kind of weigh you down with the Ten of Wands here. We're having troubles maybe finding this new strength to start something new. And I'm feeling with the Three of Cups, this could be maybe go out for like a pep talk, maybe just like, just like kind of pitch this idea to someone or some people you trust, like, like I want to start this thing back up again, but like, after such and such happened. Or this could even be maybe even like a pep talk with yourself, you source, and maybe you're familiar, just trying to figure out how these 3 owls are. But, just because. Last little thing, the Three of Cups is, we were kind of talking about that, with Mercury in Cancer, and that's what the Three of Cups is. And it's just like, maybe just connecting with where we may have been wounded, we may have felt defeated in a sense, but not letting that be the defeating point. Let that be the go back to the drawing board, to kind of lick our wounds and then tackle this thing again with new wisdom. Go now, not coming from, I just heard a reader say this and I kind of like this, not going from scratch, but working, going from experience. So I dig it, Sag. Now let's talk about this next energy here, because you got Mercury that is, let's put you center here, Sag, but you got Mercury that's going to be entering into Aries on the 9th of March, and that'll be at about 11:03 p.m. And they'll be in Aries until the 15th of May. Why so long, Sag? You guessed it, because we have a Mercury retrograde coming up here soon, but it won't be till the 1st of the 1st of April, and that is not an April Fool's joke. So it may feel like it, but yeah, but I'm actually really excited about this, because I feel like we can utilize that very constructively. Because with Mercury in Aries, this I feel like is one where since we're talking about inspirations and things, this can be an energy where you kind of ask yourself, what does light your fire there, Sag? Are we doing some things, or have things just become a little mundane? Have they been just where it's like, we just haven't seen any sort of, like, nothing that's really just done it for you, And I feel Mercury can be that thing that kind of fires stuff up there. Pisces season can be the one where you kind of challenge yourself to think a little bit bigger, like maybe I could try this or maybe I could try that. And then this Mercury in Aries, once that switch happens, it'll give you to this point where it's just like, oh, okay, I can make this happen. And maybe you'll put it in, because you're passionate about it, you'll put in more effort and things will move a lot faster than you had expected it to. You just feel things come more instinctually. But You know, the one thing with Mercury and Aries is wanting to kind of rush things along there, you know, because there can be a challenge dealing with any sort of detailed or prolonged mental task. Aries is a type that they want to do first, and then we'll figure out the details later. But again, I do feel like there was this energy though of you being very mindful with this excited energy. Turn it into this fun type of playful sort of thing is what I'm really getting for you with this Mercury and Aries energy. And be mindful too, just because communication and things can be a bit more straightforward with Aries energy. So, and the nice thing about this too, Sag, is depending on where your placements are at, this is forming a trine with your sign, which does remove blockages. It's very fast moving energy, creates opportunity. So this can be one where you work with this energy, things can move fast for you there. At least the ideas for the groundwork for some of these things can maybe come together a lot faster than you had expected them to, Sag. But let's get an oracle on this and get some details. Alrighty, Sag. I think Aries got that card. Thank you, guys. So you have the phase entanglement card here, Sagittarius, which is the card of emotional influence. And I feel that this is what we were talking about with Saturn and Pisces. Making sure we're being mindful of how others influence your energies, how they may throw you out of the flow, how opposing energies interact with you, and how you respond to certain things. Because that stuff, it can affect us. It affects us all there, Sagittarius. Like, you know, I tell a lot of the times, like, the water signs to be really mindful of that. My sun sign's in Cancer. And, you know, we can take on these energies of others around us, but I'm feeling like just be mindful of any sort of, like, just energetic manipulations, in a sense, or any sort of, like, emotional, like, even they may not even be pulling on your emotions, but they may be even like that is I just feel like that there is this, like, a need to kind of, there's a way to kind of put your foot down, in a sense, with a situation that is still it's firm, but it's not. Because I feel like it's just like something's going to try to maybe challenge you, in a sense of where they may be trying to get you to fire up their Sagittarius, where they get you to kind of make things bigger, in a sense. Let me get some tarot on this. Even if you, because I feel like this is something you know, there, Sagittarius. It's like looking at certain things that maybe trigger you, and getting down to why this trigger happens. You know, because it may not be the source of this person that's whispering in your ear. There may be something that's deeper than that. But let me get some tarot with this and get some details. And I feel like, especially with how that popped up with Mercury and Aries, yeah, just be mindful of that there, Sagittarius. But thank you, guys. We got a lot of energy here, Sag. So let's see what's going on here. And here's Pisces. Alright, Sagittarius, fascinating. So you have quite a bit going on here. You have the Moon card, the Star, the Devil, and the Lovers here. And then you have the Three of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Queen of Swords here, Sag. Where are we starting? Let's start with the Devil. Because there's something here that it feels like there's this, because even this Devil is looking pretty intense. He's looking a little angry. And I feel like that there's, with the Seven of Wands, there's something that I feel like is trying to get you to it's like it's trying to get you to crack. And if you feel like that you're on the defensive around a certain situation, or where you feel like that you can't relax, I do feel like there's a need to be present with that, to kind of understand what are some ways that we can maybe deal with these triggers possibly here, because it may be a multitude of things that trigger this, but it's just like, what is the source of the decisions that we make up until this point? You know, kind of facing these sort of scarier aspects of maybe like why this thing may be happening here. But I do feel the star card here is keeping this energy of keeping hope that you don't need to be controlled by whatever this thing is that's going on with the devil here. That we can, it's like as soon as we get this energy of clarity with the Queen of Swords being here, then more pathways open up for you with the Three of Wands, as far as like how we can de-escalate maybe some of these situations here. Maybe we're stuck in something like maybe a job that we don't particularly care for. And it's just like finding a healthy way to deal with that, if there is maybe any sort of, because both the Seven of Cups and the devil can be these sort of addictive, sort of toxic behaviors that go on there. But I do feel like, too, this is something that, remembering with these triggers, that these are things that you're always going to work on, because the devil has a very unorthodox way of helping us with growth. And I feel like the devil is the reminder that growth is a constant thing. You know, like sometimes we can get to this place where, oh, I'm healed. And it's like, you know, if you were healed, you'd be done with this journey. But it's more so that we are growing. You know, we are healing, keeping them action verbs as opposed to keeping them past tense. You know, because then I feel like that just stagnates things a little bit. You can keep going for a while, but that's just my thoughts on it there, Sag. But I do feel that this, again, the star card is keeping the hope, and that there's going to be help with whatever the situation is going to be happening here. But I feel even to this Queen of Swords, she's giving me this energy of acceptance, where it's just like, things may not be able to change right now, so what can I do to control how, or not even control, like, how can I react based off what I'm feeling, you know, and just like really coming at it from a transformative type of way, that there's this extra sort of wisdom that's coming through there. But like I was saying, you know, it's like this energy, I feel like has multiple ways of coming to test you there. And it's not necessarily like we always have to be on the defense. It's like with like alcoholism, for example. You know, it's something where you can learn. It's how do you learn temperance? How do we learn? You always comes back to either Sagittarius. How do we learn temperance? How do we learn this moderation? This. Because I'll tell you something there, Sag. You know. I mean, or my dirty laundry a little bit. I was actually just talking with someone about this. I have a lot of Leo in my chart, and my chart, and Leo can be, you know, very, very dramatic, you know, trying to find this energy of self and things, and you know, that's one of the kind of baser sort of rudimentary things you will hear about with Leo. And there are some times where it's like, I don't necessarily like drama, but if you come with like, you know, nonsense, like, and you need me to be that one, sure, I can bring awareness for you. Like, how'd you know? Like, and that was something that I had to learn about. It was another Leo that kind of brought that out in me. That might have been part of it, but it was just like this like challenge. And that might have been actually something, but I just feel like that there is this acknowledgement that's going on here. Like, this aspect is something that's become habitual, but it's not who I am. This is one way I express my energies. What are some ways that I can redirect that in a sense? So, I hope that makes sense. But I think I'm gonna leave that there. That was a lot that came through. But let's get to this next energy here, which is Aquarius. I love that you got the star card here, and you have Mars that's in Aquarius. just actually going to be entering here, depending on when you're watching this, in a few more days on the 12th, which I kind of made a boo-boo on a couple of dates there, but we've got them fixed. Everything is fine. And then you have Pluto. That's in Aquarius, and he's going to retrograde one more time into Capricorn towards like around, I want to say it's between like Virgo and Libra season when this happened. I have to double check on that. But let's talk about Mars, because I like this energy for you there, Sagittarius, because Mars is going to enter on the 12th of February at about 1:05 a.m. and then we'll be there through the 22nd of March. Now, this can be an energy where I feel like this is like how we were talking with like Chiron, and this is a lot of like growing and where we're going with ourselves. Who are we? I feel this can be one where because now Mars is in the individualistic sign of Aquarius, where yes, Aquarius is a very humanitarianistic sign as well. The big end point with Aquarius is to not lose that sense of individuality, because when we get into that, operating in that herd mentality, then the growth stops happening. There's not that genius that comes through there. And genius is just that expression of something that we never thought about before. And so this, I feel like, this Mars in Aquarius energy gives us this opportunity to really ask ourselves, what do I want? Where do I want to go? And how can I push myself? How can I show up for myself differently? Where have I surrendered some of my freedoms? Whether this be to people, this be to a substance, and how do I claim that autonomy back? And how do I keep that, and how does that inspire others? How do I show up for myself when it comes to others? Do I need to, and just like starting asking these deeper types of questions. How have I been putting this energy? Has it been more, like when we're checking social media, has it been geared more towards this kind of common mind here? And I've just sort of lost this sense of this, I've become this mirror. There's no sort of there's nothing just differentiating we're just, what I mean, it's almost just being part of the echo chamber. And so, yeah, I feel this is an energy that allows us to really kind of go about things in an unconventional way. Live to your truth, challenge the status quo in a sense, not being afraid to let your freak flag fly. And because we're getting into a new age, we're getting into one of this radical acceptance, no matter what people think, if we gotta be, it's very interesting. I feel like Mars with Aquarius. So this can be very rebellious energy to their Sagittarius. So I feel like that is one other thing to be mindful of as well, as far as, especially if we've been keeping things bottled up. This could be one where we have these conversations and bring a little more heat, but again, it's like we have these more kind of intellectual debates, like really kind of get down to the source of things. Can we go about stuff a little bit differently, maybe if this is in relationships or whatever that's looking like. But also, too, this can be an opportunity if you've been feeling compelled to do more stuff to make a difference in your community or even in the world type of way there. Take these gifts and expand on that. Go live this fullest potential, their journey into the unknown. With the moon, this could be an opportunity to really kind of show what you got and to find, I feel like, even who you are. Interestingly enough, in with this kind of strength energy here, but also, I think that's all I have for Mars for you. And then we have Pluto. That's in Aquarius, and Pluto's going to be in Aquarius until I want to say March of 2043. And he'll probably we'll see, he might do some retrograde shenanigans, but with Pluto being in Aquarius, this is a big deal because Pluto, again, doesn't move that often. He takes his time in a sign, because when you're pulling up things from the surface, you need to be thorough, and Pluto is very thorough, and I feel like there's going to be significant kind of societal, political reforms. This is very revolutionary energy, and I just don't mean in just like, like revolutions all over the place. Because the last time when this was happening, there were some revolutions that were ending, but I feel like this could even be more so like a personal revolution, where that inner child, that inner one that we've been keeping suppressed for so long is wanting to break out, and we're feeling kind of challenged by that a little bit. Because how does that fit into the social structure, which that in itself is starting to dismantle and starting to crumble. So it's just like with all this newness happening, that can be overwhelming, and it's just like, what do I do with this? How do I comprehend all of this stuff there? And those are the questions that we ask ourselves. We sit down with this stuff, we ask our guides, we write this stuff down, we paint it out, we talk it out, whatever that's looking like, we move it out, and yeah, see where this leads us, because we're in Aquarius season. Things are about to get moving there, Sag. But also too, this can bring about some very profound changes with our interactions with technology, and really just kind of groundbreaking type of stuff. Advancements, and because technology is in Aquarius's realm, and just understanding its impact on society. I've been working with technology a lot more. You see, I'm trying to get on Instagram a little bit more and doing these posts and things. And actually, I've been working with, what was it, ChatGPT? ChatGPT's on that. And it might be just because I've been in this sort of Luddite energy, but I find ChatGPT, I feel like that's some alien energy right there, or some alien technology right there, because like what it can do, like, man. But yeah, this is very interesting energy there, Sagittarius. And I do, depending on where your placements are at, this is very interesting for you because it's forming a sextile with your sign. So a lot of opportunities, a lot of easy flowing energy for you to not resist this wave, but to ride the wave, to go with the current, to grow, to evolve, to ask yourself how you're showing up in society. I feel like that's been where the energies have been kind of leading us. We're getting from this place of where we can still observe, but you can only observe for so long. Eventually we have to take some sort of action. You can either observe what's happening, talk about what's happening, or be the thing that people are talking and observing. So that's where I feel like the energies are kind of moving to there, Sagittarius. But let me get some tarot on this. Or excuse me, get an oracle on this. And it's going to require us to push ourselves, a little bit more. But, even I'm trying some newer things here. Thank you, guys. But, got another archangel here. Sagittarius being divinely guided. Someone else got this guy too, and I want to say they had this combination. It might have been another archangel, but you have Archangel Raguel here, which is a card of justice, harmony, and solutions. And I feel with this, Sagittarius, that this is a chance for you to... I like how he's holding the scales here. Because I do feel like this is a chance for you to gain this kind of harmony in your life. Weighing the pros and cons of the decisions that you've made. And just like, have these solutions brought you harmony? Or have these solutions been thrown out of whack? And how do we... Because I'm even, when it's saying justice, I'm picturing the Justice card, of course, which is Libra's card. But when I think about when the Justice is what do I do to make this right? And when I say right, it's like, what do I do to bring this back into balance, especially if things did not work out the way that I thought it would? We got cause, effect, solution. Or we had the problem, the action, the solution. And if we didn't like the solution, it's back to the drawing board in a sense. And like we tweak and we kind of go about things a little bit. We see, and I feel like this is again kind of applying to your life. Doing things that are more, making decisions that are more harmonious to your needs in a sense. And having those people, I feel like, around you that don't necessarily, they're not, because again, we're not trying to all be the same, but I feel like that they don't, they challenge you. You know, like I feel like that's where it's like where we can have justice is where like where we can have this debate where we can weigh both options, and even if we don't meet a middle ground, that still doesn't affect, like, I still support you. I have my thoughts on this thing. That's not how I would do it, but I'm not going through your journey. So that's where I feel like, and there's this acceptance. I kind of feel like this and this respect. I almost feel like that's even kind of coming through with how, because this can even be a conversation that you're having with yourself. This could be where, you know, an older version of you may have done it this way, but a newer version wants to do it this way, and they need to hash it out. How do we bring the best of both worlds into this? But it's very interesting. Let's get some tarot on this. There's your pass. Alright, Sag. Thank you guys. So let's see what's going on here. So you have the Six of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Wands, the Six of Cups, and the Ten of Cups here, Sag. We're going to proceed. Here's another one of your cards here, the Eight of Wands. This is Mercury and Sagittarius, and I feel like this one is... It's like when we're finding these solutions, I feel like we need to see the big picture, because I feel like sometimes when we feel frustrated, Sagittarius, maybe when we're asking ourselves these questions, like we know we need to move on to these that something needs to change here. We know that, you know, there's this dream that we're trying to accomplish here, but then when we don't seem to get it, you know, maybe we just kind of throw a bunch of things at once and see what sticks in a sense. But I feel the Seven of Swords here is finding, you know, it's when we're going back to the drawing board, we're spitballing, but we're not just throwing out thoughtless things. You know, we're being it's like more intentional, because I feel like where there's a will, there's a way. And I feel like the Six of Cups is there's this needing to maybe kind of share with this, and again being kind of open to maybe some perspectives here, you know, take into account we may not appreciate what they're, it may not, I don't want to say it doesn't even resonate with us. It may pose some dissonance maybe with how a person would go about it, and we may not like the answer, but it might be what we need in that moment. There may need to be that little bit of tension in order to get to this other side here. So just if we're noticing, I feel like that things have gotten stuck here, and we've just been in this state of, yeah, just kind of feeling just like, And one more thing I'm getting with the Ten of Cups here, and the Sixes, they can deal with community. And I'm just feeling that there is strength in community here, Sagittarius, for some that it's all kind of tying back to this. What I'm getting is that I'm getting this imagery of like something happens where a chapter has closed out, and where we may want justice or some sort of, not necessarily vengeance, but kind of. I feel like we want to be mindful about that. You know, and channel our energies a little more constructively for not for those who have maybe done us wrong, but it's just like, where do we find community now that this source has no longer, now that this source doesn't feel safe, or something along those lines there, Sagittarius. That's just another kind of thing that's coming through there, kind of a little intuitive message, but I think I'm going to leave that there. And then let's get to this last energy here, which is Taurus. Because now we get into where your ruler's at. Because you have Jupiter, Big Papa, that is in Taurus. And then you have Uranus that's in Taurus. Let's talk about your ruler, because Jupiter is going to be in Taurus until the 25th of... To the 25th of... Hold on. To the 25th of May 2025, excuse me, 2024. And he's been there since last year, since about the 6th, it was last time year in May. And I feel this energy is kind of looking at where you have, the ways that you may have invested in yourself up until now, Sagittarius. Now we have a few more months left with Jupiter being in Taurus. And I feel this is asking how have your investments helped you grow? You know, how they have helped you realize your potential, where we may have found new strengths. You know, how has this gotten us closer to our wishes, our dreams, our goals? What new doorways has this opened up? But, and then at the same time, where, you know, what do we learn from our mistakes even, you know, where we, because, you know, Jupiter and Taurus can be a little hedonistic, because, you know, Taurus is a very sensual sign. They like things that, you know, the things that feel good can become something where we get addicted to that feel good in a sense. And we do have devil energy here and 7 of Cups. So just, I feel like, you know, just being mindful with how we've maybe invested in like kind of quick fix or just those sort of like instant sort of like dopamine hits, and how can we invest if we haven't been doing so? You know, in what ways can we invest ourselves going forward? Because just because when Jupiter moves out of this energy, it doesn't mean that it stops. You know, these are still energies that we can reflect on. So I feel that this for you, Sagittarius, can be one of really just kind of slow, patient. You have a lot of supporting energies, I feel like, that can move things a lot faster than you think, especially even with the 8 of Wands being here. But I do feel like it may be like the initial start of it may be slow. Maybe it's because we've been kind of resisting in a sense, and there may even be this energy of like, man, why didn't I start this sooner? But hey, I feel like better late than never, you know. And they're just kind of going with that there, Sagittarius. And this energy too can also invite us to appreciate the small things in life, to not just be in this constant state of wanting more and being where it's just like gimme. No, just like, and I don't even mean with just like the stuff that you have, even on like a more just kind of base level, you know, just the beauty of just the earth. You know, you're with your ruler being in Taurus, you're under that Taurian influence there. So you can slow down your pace a little bit. You know, appreciate the abundance that is all around you. Take a note from that when we're talking about the different phases. Take a note from the gypsy. Go out there and really kind of experience things to the max, you know, and really kind of get the most out of life. See how this changes, how this grows and adds to your big picture. It makes this picture a lot more, even richer there in a sense there, Sag. But then you have Uranus that's been in Taurus since 2018 and will be there until July 7th of 2025, and he'll be doing a little retrograde dance around that time too. There'll be a lot of energies, a lot of planets, or the outer planets kind of flirting with these like end degrees and beginning degrees. So if you have, you know, some placements, especially in the mutable and like towards the end of any mutable placements, that's Sag, Gemini, Virgo, or Pisces, or any cardinal placements, Cancer, Libra, Aries, and Capricorn. And just see where if you have any sort of these like kind of critical degree points, like either 0 degrees of something, 29 degrees of something, you know, because there's going to be a lot of this moving back and forth. But I bring that up to say with Uranus deals with this. Uranus has been asking us, you know, the things that we've invested in, do we really feel secure in them? with the decisions that we've made, and again, this is going to depend on where this falls in your house, where this more specifically may be affecting you, but this energy has been, pushing us to question, what do we actually value in life? Where have we been investing our time? Where have we been investing our resources? And, just even for example, just seeing with how COVID changed a lot of things. A lot of people would switch to working from the office to working at home, or had to change careers altogether. Some places didn't make it through COVID. So it's just like, how we understood security, and even how we had to shut down in a sense. It was a lot that was going on with that. And so this invites us to, I feel like on a real kind of deep level, how do we, with all these external things that happen in this world, how do we find security within? Where do you, because the true values are what, not these things that you can take with you, but the ways that you grow, Sagittarius, these lessons that your soul is trying to incorporate here. But and it's just like, are we living with purpose, or are we living in distractions? Are we just on autopilot a majority of the time? How does that look? And even with how we treat our environment, because Taurus, can deal with that environment as well, and how we treat the planet, and how we, just kind of just take from our home, but not necessarily give back what that we've consumed. So, this is going to be thinking about, like, as far as like natural disasters and things like that. The place that I just moved from, we had a pretty mild hurricane season, but there was already talks about, with where this El Nino was going to be going, that it's going to potentially be another rough one. So, and I feel this is the energy is just like trying to, like, hey, there's a lot, we're doing a lot. So just a little something I feel like to kind of ponder there, Sagittarius. But let's get your last oracle card here. Alrighty. Love it. Alright, so you have the relaxation card here, Sagittarius, which is a card of peaceful pursuits and happy times. And that's what I feel like this energy is asking you. The things that you're pursuing, do you like them? Do they make you feel good? And I just don't mean in that moment. I feel like this is something where, can this be something that makes you feel good in the long term? Having money in these savings accounts, becoming a bit more wise and maybe financially savvy. Or this could be, maybe we're building, investing in some sort of land, or maybe this is investing in ourselves. Maybe we're learning a new language. Maybe we're learning to take more rest, protect our energies. Maybe we're, whatever this is looking like. But I do feel like Taurus is, I feel like, a sign, their goal, their endpoint is to find that state of peace, where they can just kind of relax and just enjoy the fruits of their labor, in a sense, but have that balance with that as well. Make sure there's this harmony in this. And I like this too. There's this, we're in the waning crescent right now. There's a waning crescent in this card of the balsamic moon phase. And we're getting ready to have that in Aquarius, again, depending on when you're watching this. We're getting ready to be in the new moon tomorrow. It'll be on the 9th at about, I want to say about 3 p.m. Pacific time, I want to say, is when that's happening. But, This is a time I feel like to really kind of think what makes you happy. What are some pursuits that you've been wanting to that would bring more peace into your world. And again, I just don't mean this is like we're just quitting our jobs or anything, unless that's something that you want to do. But I do feel like it's something like you have to ask yourself, do you want to do it? It's not something where society can tell you like should I do it? Well, I mean, if you unless it's going to put you in some sort of, put your vessel in some sort of danger, I don't, like, do you want to do it? That's why. But let me get some tarot on this, Sag. That's kind of where I feel. Oh, that's where I kind of feel like where this kind of Chiron and North Node stuff. This is like we need to kind of ask ourselves more. What do I want to do? Not in like. Alright, Sag. Last little bit here. Thank you, guys. So you have the Nine of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Two of Cups. Ooh, the World here, Saturn, the Nine of Wands, the Tower, and the Two of Swords here, Sagittarius. We got a lot going on here. Okay. And let's switch back over. And it's very interesting too there, Sagittarius, because you got all of your minor arcana cards here on top, along with yourself, but the 8, 9, and 10 of Swords. And this, I feel like, is what's happening here. Like, if we're not tuned into what we're doing, if there's some things that we haven't closed out there in a sense, if there aren't these changes that I feel like that are being made here with the Tower, then we're just going to keep staying in that 8, 9, 10 of Swords and then repeat, because the world is giving me this, if we're not learning from the past, then, the history will repeat itself. And we'll start something fast, we'll get burnt out, and then we'll be exhausted, and then again it'll reset. So I feel this is a time for you to, when we get into that, where we feel we're burning out, taking a moment and pausing and just like kind of asking yourself, am I still resonating with this? Is what I'm doing, the wish that I set out here, Nine of Cups, is that something that's still resonating with where I see my world being, in a sense? And I feel with the Two of Cups here, this is that intimate conversation that you're kind of having with yourself there, Sagittarius. I do feel, though, as well, that there was this energy of someone whose, I feel like, opinions you hold, that holds some weight with you. I feel like keep an open mind with that. It may not be how you normally go about something, but I feel that it's worth maybe exploring a little bit, is what I'm getting with this. And because it's like with this Two of Swords, Two of Cups, I feel like this is going to be that head battle, heart battle, like, should I do this? Does this make sense? I feel this, but then when, like, it's going to be a duel here. But I do feel like with a little, I feel like with some mindful action, as far as like what you're doing, that's what I'm really, because it's like, because I was going to say discipline, but no, more so kind of mindful action with how we're going about these pursuits for this happy time. Because I feel like this Tower is a result of not bringing in enough peaceful pursuits into our world there, Sagittarius. It's, things get kind of bottled up and then it just sort of, so. But I think I'm going to leave that there, Sag. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But if anything resonated with you, Sagittarius, if you like that, give it a thumbs up. And share this thing, Sagittarius, if you know someone who's been either under that, because that emotional influence was an interesting one, or just needing some time for some peace, some peace and quiet. Maybe you need to kick it in a hammock for a little while, kick your shoes off there, take some time to get inspired, whatever that's looking like there, Sagittarius. And then subscribe there, Temperance. Hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each week. Well, it'll be each month, and I'll make a more formal announcement about this once I'm finished up with the readings. I have an idea of something else that I'm going to do there, Sagittarius, but doing the weekly readings with now, I have these, I'm doing more of these personal readings now. This is something where I figured this was gonna kind of happen, but I still love doing Celestial News monthly, and I'm glad that it was. Sidebar: when I first started this channel, like very beginning, Celestial News monthly was called something else, and it didn't take off like I wanted to, so I kind of scrapped it. And then this inspiration happened, and it's taken on a whole new life in a sense. So that's really been exciting. So I'll probably do this and the yearly readings for this channel, and I'll do the same stuff on my other channel because that's just one video Monday through Friday. But yes, speaking of, I was like, how did I get on that tangent? Check out for the readings there, Sagittarius. Just a little reminder down in the description box below. Hopefully I'll be chit-chatting with you soon there, Sag. And then last little bit, speaking of my other channel, if you have any Cancer in your placements, which we can find out there, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars, come on over to the Chariot and Friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, and I do tarot card spreads based on what sign she's in and what phase she's in. It's a great old time. And all that housekeeping is down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here, Sag, so I can get you out of here. And you got the Page of Pentacles here. And I feel this page is really this is an invitation to start up some inspirations there, Sagittarius. Finding, I feel like even to maybe the opportunity to like find some harmonious solutions for some maybe if we've had any sort of like rifts or anything that have happened in relationships or whatever that's looking. I'm even getting with that Archangel Raguel. A time for just to do more leisure, do some more recreational things for yourself there, Sagittarius, but just an opportunity to allow yourself to say, yes, I can do this. I may not have the full picture of this yet, but I can do it, and just trust that you'll, I had to do something that was like a little difficult, but I knew in the grand scheme of things, it was going to help that's what I'm trusting. I had to have a conversation or send a message, and I just spoke my piece, and sometimes, I didn't really have an idea of what I was going to say. I just got the download, and I went for a walk, and I was just like, all right, guys, help me with the words, and I just sort of went for it. And nothing's yielded from it yet, but, well, something has. I feel lighter, not leaving things in a weird place and kind of speaking where I was coming from. So that's what I feel like this Page of Pentacles could be for some. It's like something may come of it, something may blow up, something may not happen. It may just stay the way it is, but at least you can say that you've done something. So that's just something to consider, Sag. But let me get your other oracle card here so I can get you out of here. Get ready to enjoy this intuitive month. I feel like this is going to be a dope time in Pisces season. Thank you, guys. Oh, I love that, Sag. Absolutely. And interesting. This 36 energy here. So 36 might be a synchronicity to pay attention to there, Sagittarius. But you have an instrument, the instrument of divine will card. And you are an instrument of divine will, Sagittarius. This vessel is. Because it is an instrument for your will. This is something where I like that. This is something where I feel if you're not feeling inspired, you don't wait for inspiration to come to you, you go find it. If you've been wanting more peace, you don't wait for it to come to you, you create it. If we want, it's a lot of this action stuff. Again, being very intentional and giving yourself more power than I feel like you realize that even just in that sense of just like, oh, everything will work out. Like, it's just, I'm lucky I got this. Like, I feel like when you're more intentional with that, you can see how that. I had a moment today where I got the right person's attention at a time that didn't seem like, where at a moment I had a moment where I was like, so a person giving me some news, and I was just like, oh, well, and then in turn I was like, well, if that doesn't work out, then we'll just see where it goes from here. And right as that happened, I literally got like a flash. It was like I saw Jupiter sign, and then someone who I needed was just happened to notice me. It was just like, oh, well, I'm kind of busy, but I kind of got time for you. Like, I got some time. Like, and Jupiter's in my first house, and it was just like, again, like this sort of like, when I'm in a high self-esteem, it was just like, because I've said this before, where just like, I wouldn't necessarily define it as luck, like I could just like, go play slot machines, but I have been lucky, and I am lucky, and there's certain ways in how I'm looking at that, and I feel like it's understanding, again, like the intention of that luck, and your Jupiter ruled. So sit with that. you got. I'm leaving that there, Sagittarius. You ponder that, but you stay safe out there with this wisdom, inspiration, luck. Use these powerful for good, and be mindful of this emotion, whatever that emotional influence there is, Sag, and you raise your vibration to the roof. Absolutely, an instrument of divine will. I like that. That might actually be the title of your thing there, Sag. I kind of really dig that. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.